2015 Buick Encore with the 1.4 LUV engine. Came in for a service engine soon light. It's a lot vehicle. 104,246 miles with a P0171 fuel system lean bank 1. Now, probably going to end up needing a valve cover on it, but we're going to confirm that. What am I trying to do here? Go back. But anyways, let's go into engine. Oh, I guess one thing I need to show you guys too is that all the readiness monitors are not complete on this vehicle. So monitors complete since DTC clear. So you can see that our CAT and our O2 sensor have not ran. It's looking like the evap system hasn't ran. So that's something to keep in the back of our minds. Let's see here. Let's go back. Let's look at data. Let's look at fuel trim data. So before I start the engine, I'm just going to do a quick peek here. You can see our long term is pegged out at 30% already. And our average was, test average is at around 35%. Test average without a purge percentage is 2. I guess before we look at that, let's look at freeze frame real quick. Let's take a quick peek at the freeze frame on this and see what was going on when this actually set this lean code, okay? Okay, so I'm just kind of taking a peek here. There's a 28.9 on our barrel. And you can see our downstream was lean there. Not moving. 0 miles per hour. Literally 8 miles. This mill flagged within 8 miles of the codes being cleared. I have no idea who cleared the codes. So I'm going to have to talk to my service rater on that. 73 seconds, so just over a minute in closed loop of startup. Ambient air temp was 28 degrees, so it was cold. 13.8 on our intake, and you can see our long term's pegged out, as well as our short term. Extremely lean. There's our fuel rail pressure. 43.5 psi. So, at least now we know it happened when it was cold, obviously. What did I just click? I didn't want to click that. Go back. Return. So now we'll look at fuel trims. Go back into data, go fuel trim data. And we're just going to limit this up. We'll go to custom, deselect it, short term, long term, upstream, downstream, fuel trim learn. No, we don't want fuel trim learn. Fuel control loop status is what we want. We'll look at intake air temp. We'll look at the purge valve percentage, and then we'll just keep an eye on the MAF. Our manifold. Fuel alcohol content, I believe I looked at that was at 0%, but just to make sure. Alright, that should be good. Let's graph that. And start it. This thing's getting a little bit of a weak battery as well, I noticed. So let's see, we're in open loop. %0 on our fuel alcohol, 30% on our long term. You can see we just went into closed loop, and now it's starting to cut fuel and starting to add fuel. Our downstream oxygen sensor is at 1107. I thought I put my upstream, yeah, right here. So that's switching. Let's try raising RPMs. And you can see we get a huge improvement. So clearly we have a vacuum leak on our short term. Okay. All right. So let's go take a look at that PCV valve on that valve cover. All right, I don't know if you guys can hear that whistling. Plug that off, and we're getting immediate corrections on our short term. So that whistling you're hearing is a change when I pull the valve, the dipstick. Sure does. And I'm going to tell you right now, we're going to want to do a front seal on this one. Now, that valve I was telling you guys about is down in this port. And I looked down there with the bore scope, and it doesn't look similar to the design that I was talking to Rob Dotterer about. We were having a conversation about this engine and all the TSBs that are out for it, as there are a lot of them. Yeah. So we got a failed PCV valve. Now what it is it's a check valve in there, and it's orange. Let me see if I can find it. Alright, so I found it. Now some of you guys are going to be like, what? Who are you giving a plug to? Oh yeah, that's right. Now I talked to Rob Dotterer. Check his channel out. I'll put a link in the description. This is the issue here. Now, I'll go back here and show you some stuff, but here is their upgraded fix for this. So inside the intake, there's this little disc, okay? The original integrated umbrella PCV diaphragm becomes dislodged over time, resulting in multiple engine trouble codes and damage to the PCV diaphragm and the valve cover. So their fix is to add this bracket to hold it in place. So the Dorman's fix here is supposed to fix the OEM design problems, causing damage to critical components. When the valve cover in the factory intake manifold disappears, it creates excessive vacuum and damages the fragile diaphragm inside the valve cover's PCV cap. The result is rough running condition from air being drawn into the engine through its opening. The proper fix is to replace both the intake and the valve cover at the same time with Dorman's fix. So I think we're going to try this. I don't know if Rob wanted me to share this, but too bad I'm sharing it. Now, if you look here, we're dealing with a 2015 Buick Enclave. And Dorman was nice enough to give us a list of all the vehicles affected. And if you look, or was it an Enclave or an Encore we're working on? An Encore, 2015 Encore. And it's on the list here, 2015 Buick Encore. So that's what we're going to do. Plastic intake manifold includes gaskets. Check your fit. Alright, hold on. There you go. Typed in the vehicle information and it fits. This is my part that I need, so we're going to recommend this. plugged a Dorman for once on something that they did that actually looks like it's going to fix this problem. So it says that the manifold includes a new throttle body gasket, port gaskets, fuel injector O-rings, map sensor O-ring, and screws for complete installation. Well, that's pretty neat. The intake manifold is redesigned to correct the common PCV failure. Manifold definitely, okay, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to do that with a valve cover, and we will do the front seal, because it's been my experience, you don't do the front seal, and she'll be back whistling and making all kinds of weird noises, because when they have this issue, they suck that seal in and damage it. So you just do your front seal. We're going to do this upgraded intake from Dorman, believe it or not, because I doubt GM has a design like this, because I'm sure this is patented. There's a patent on it or something. But that's what we're going to do. And we're going to replace the valve cover, of course, and change the oil. Alright, guys. So again, check out Rob Dotterer. I'll put a link to the description for his channel. And shout out to you, Rob, for this suggestion I wasn't even aware of. Now, me and Rob were up ridiculously late talking about this engine after I came out with the video for pattern failures on it, and we were looking at all the TSBs related to this engine, and let me tell you, there are a lot. Okay, needless to say, this is the fix that I'm going to go with. I think there was a TSB out for this valve issue and these intakes. That little butterfly valve that we were looking at, that orange one. I couldn't tell you offhand which one it is. I'd have to do some digging, but I think we did find one. Correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. But again, here's going to be my recommendation. Damaged PCV diaphragm requires updated intake to prevent further failures. Now, our future failures. I will check with GM to see if they offer an updated intake. I doubt they do. And there is the part number I need. 2 hours to do the intake, 1.2 on the valve cover, and then that front seal. Now, the reason I'm doing the front crankshaft seal is because it's been my experience that they, like I said, they tend to whistle and fail pretty much at the same time. So I just do everything at once, and then I don't have to worry about it. Again, this is a lot vehicle. We got this in on trade. Now, I know the valve cover's been done on this about I want to say like last year sometime. I couldn't tell you the exact mileage, but it wasn't done here. It was done in another shop. And we got that information from the customer. The car broke down or something like that, and I think the valve cover was done at that time. Now, I'm sure they weren't aware of this either, and recommended the valve cover, like a lot of shops are with these 1.4s. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this job. I know it's going to fix the issue, okay? But I don't know, as far as a long-term fix goes with Dorman, I have no idea. So it's literally going to be like one of those deals where I'm going to have to, we'll do the job and then see what happens, okay? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Hope you liked it. Check out Rob. Alright. We got the 1.4. We got the intake off. Now, that nipple I was talking about, here's the new one from GM, and supposedly this is updated. I couldn't get the one from Dorman because it's like 3 months out, but or 3 weeks out, I think it is. Right down there. Now this is the intake port side. Let's see, hopefully you guys can see that little orange nub right there, okay? Now, on the top side, if we look down the port, you're going to see it, the other end of it right there, okay? Alright, now look at how clean everything is. Let's see here. Right? Nice clean port. Look at the one I took off. So this is why guys are putting intakes on them. All that buildup. Hold on a second. get a can. And oh, there's a big chunk of carbon down there. Okay. So you see the little disc is gone on this one, so that's why the PCVs are failing. Now that Dorman one's updated, but I don't know what according to General Motors, this is their updated intake. Now it looks different than the Dorman one. They don't have that they don't have that bracket there, so I don't know if they supposedly this is redesigned. So we'll find out. Alright, so before I put all this back together, I'm just going to show you where that port is. So that hole right there is the port that goes down for that PCV port, and there's a little hole right here back by the intake. Let me see, you see it right there? And that's what, and that's where, you know, that's where you're going to have that valve in play, okay? Now, here's what I'm wondering. So, if that other one's missing, there's really, you know, you got to wonder, where did it go? Because it can only go, pretty much it can only go into the turbo, because that PCV hose runs from the intake here around, and then it goes into the side of the turbo. So, you know, did the turbo shred it up and away she went? You know, that's what I'm thinking. But nevertheless, I just wanted to show you guys that, you know, obviously I took and I blew all the crud out of here, cleaned everything up, and, you know, prepped it, and then I'm going to put the new one on, and then I'll change the oil, obviously, and I still got to do that front seal. So anyways, I'll keep you guys apprised as to what happens. Like I said, I couldn't get the Dorman one, and I talked to Rob. He said I could probably get one through somebody that he knows, but I just don't have the time, Rob. I'd like to. I'll tell you what, we'll put mine up against yours. I got the OEM updated, quote-unquote updated GM one here. We'll put it on here and see how long this valve cover PCV lasts, and then you just keep me apprised as to how long the one that you did with the Dorman one lasts, and we'll kind of go from there, right? Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it, and sorry I was kind of all over the place. It just took a while to get parts, so alright.